Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Occam's Razor. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Can you guys think of any reason that retailers might want to flee from the city of Chicago? Or residents, for that matter? I'll give you one guess. It's a pretty simple answer. 5 minutes early. Oh, you guys, yes, so sad we lost our memberships, but as always, there are other means of support in the description below. Oh, what's up, Craig Mason? Appreciate you all for being here. Well, Wheezy, in this instance, there is one very simple, specific answer. Of course, there are hundreds of reasons you might not want to live in a modern-day war zone. Love you guys. You guys, I've got some cool stuff to debut today. I want to give a big shout out to my brother, Gafferanon. You'll see why in a moment. All right, gang. Please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. You know, a lot of folks have lost hope recently, and with the stock market returning minus 10% since the start of the year, for a lot of people, it's looking dismal, but it doesn't have to be. Crazy as it sounds, gold has actually gained ground by around 15%. That's a 25% more bang for your buck. It's probably something you've never considered before. So, should you be investing in precious metals? Gold, silver, palladium, and platinum have proven to be safe haven investments. It's the only investment with appreciating value during an economic collapse. If you're interested in securing your wealth, call Noble Gold Investment today at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347, or visit the website at noblegoldinvestments.com. Once again, that's noblegoldinvestments.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Occam's Razor. As always, I am your host, RP, and joining me live in the studio is my co-host, M3. Methods, how are you today, brother?
Man, I'm doing awesome. How are you doing today? What's up, chat?
Yeah, I need to turn up your mic a little bit. Sorry.
Man, I had it turned down from the show on Comfy Sunday.
I know, it's all good. Well, here's the thing, you know, it's like I've only got two audio channels. I got the channel for my mic, and then I got the channel for everything on the desktop. And technically, you come through as part of the desktop. So then, like, my commercial is way louder than your mic. So I got to turn it down for the commercial, then I got to turn it back up for you. And then we get, you know, situations like we did with Deanna, bless her heart. Mike was not nearly as loud as yours. And I, in between, when you guys are talking, I had to, like, go up and go down, go up and go down. I need a sound engineer. If there's anybody out there who wants to help me and knows how to do this stuff on a Mac, then please send me an email, redpill78@protonmail.com. Put sound engineer all in caps in the subject line of the email. I have had people email me before, but it was way back when I first started, and things are different now. I need your help, please. Definitely. If you guys can help, I would certainly appreciate it. Okay, so check it out. I finally got a haircut. I've got a story to tell you guys about it. I also accidentally shaved off my beard, but just give it like another 2 days and it'll be as thick as it was the other day. So let's see. Starting off with the beard story. So I went to go trim it down. First of all, I was hot. I was sweating. I had so much hair. It was crazy. I looked like Gene Wilder and Young Frankenstein, and it was just everywhere. So I grabbed my clippers, and I put the wrong blade on. So I did one stripe, and it was very clear that it was a number 1 and not a number 3. So I had to just keep going, and I just took it all off. I left the mustache, but, I figured, why not? I have to do it, and I'm just going to live through it, whatever, no big deal. So then I was kind of considering, should I shave my head? Should I just take the trimmers for my beard and do a hard part and then just shave everything off on the sides? And I just kind of figured I was going to look ridiculous. There was no way it was going to look correct. So I went onto a search engine and I started searching for hair salons in my area. They are still not open for whatever reason. And I found one that didn't say it was closed. So I went and I called them. And then the person that had left the voicemail left a cell phone number. So I called that cell phone number and I let them know how desperate I was and that I needed to get my hair trimmed because it had been 4 or 5 months. I don't even remember how long it was now. And I assured the stylist that this was not a sting operation. And then it turns out that they only live a mile away from me. So I drove to their home. They cut my hair in the garage, and they were very, very cool people. It was a husband and wife. The husband was a retired Marine, and there was some level of history that we could all talk about. Supporters of the president. I came into the neighborhood. There was American flags on every lawn. I said, it's so wonderful to see a neighborhood full of patriots. Because, as I've told you before, in my neighborhood, if I put my Trump-Pence sign in my front yard, my house would be firebombed within probably 40 or 50 minutes. So it was a wonderful thing to be able to hang out with people in real life who had similar sensibilities. And I let them know what I did. And I said, if you want to check it out and, give me your opinion, I would love to hear it because I'm going to be coming back for another haircut. So I get home and I have a care package from Gaffer-Anon. It's got this wonderful plaid shirt. I'm wearing it today. It's a little big right now. I got to throw it in the dryer so it shrinks down a little bit, but it's very high quality. Gaffer, good stuff, man. I also received in that care package a bag of popcorn, his favorite popcorn. His wife made me a watercolor, and that is actually taped to my mirror above my dresser right now. That's why I don't have it right now, but I will show it in another broadcast. And so it also had a really cool piece of memorabilia. And I don't know if I can say it on the air. Gaffer, I want you to tell me if it's okay for me to say what you sent me, because I don't want to give anything away. But I just want to let you guys know how cool it was, how awesome it was. This is something that you would not find anywhere. And now I've got it sitting on my shelf in my bedroom. It was an amazing thing. And yesterday ended up being one of the best days I've had in a long time. I feel so good not having a mullet, It's like my collar, my hair was growing over my collar, and it's been a long time since my hair has been that long. It was too much.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you guys in the chat, you don't know how Red Pill on pre-shows and stuff would keep talking about his hair and wanting to have it cut. And also, Red Pill, if you had shaved your head, do you understand the PR damage control you would have done?
Yes.
With shaving your head for BLM going on?
Oh,
and
no.
If you do it during this time, oh man, you wouldn't hear the end of it.
No, that would be it. All right. Well, we do have a couple of issues we want to talk about today. Obviously, there's still Red Pill news at 6 p.m. Later in the day, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on some of these subjects. But the big news is that today is the 71st anniversary of the publishing of George Orwell's seminal classic, 1984. And I bring it up as a big deal because I feel like this book is more prescient today than it ever was in the past. I mean, we are living in the society that he created, and I think that he knew what was coming. I don't think that he was interested in propagating it. I do believe that George L. Orwell was warning us about what could potentially happen. But it is real today in a way that it never was in the past. I mean, you've got people saying that using language is violence against people for whatever, segment of society you're from. But then at the same time, they're using actual physical violence against people for just speaking their mind. And so up is down, left is right, blue is green, and yellow is red in today's society. But, I think that the Democrats have really taken the vision that Orwell had, and they have just kicked it up another notch. Like, this is next level stuff that's going on right now. Daisy Chain says 1984 required reading. I am afraid that they do not have this as required reading right now. I think that if in modern day, in a high school, if they had somebody read 1984, then it might click a nerve. They might understand, like, wait a second, we're living in the world that they were warning us about. Why hasn't people been talking about this? They don't show it to people anymore because it gives them too much of a clue about the culture that they're living in and how messed up it is.
Right. And I mean, we've talked about it before, but imagine how many people in our past life before all this going on that are trying to hunt us down saying, hey, you were saying all these things were going to happen and now we're living it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely playing out right in front of our eyes, and just the whole culture of using, words against you and trying to just intimidate and do all that stuff. I understand, being proud of whatever race you are or respecting another person regardless of race, but what happened to just being an individual? I'm not everyone's keeper, whether they're my race or not. They make a decision. The cops made that decision. That wasn't me. I didn't even know what was going on until we saw the videos afterwards. Mm-hmm. And we've got to get back to just individualism, being unique, being who you are, and respecting other people and letting them be that way as well. And just real quick, shout out to White Hat in the chat. What's up, bud?
Hey, White Hat, how you doing, buddy? 1 second. Let me tell somebody I'm on the air. All right, there we go. Let's see. Oh, Baby Love says, I kept missing this broadcast because I was thinking 1:30 p.m. my time instead of your time. It's always 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is the standard for all of the broadcasts. And no matter what time I say it is, it's always going to appear in your own time zone. So if you're in Central Time, it will show as starting at 12:30. If you're in Mountain Time, it'll show as starting at 11:30. I think. Yeah. What Mountain Time is 2 hours backwards.
Hey, you don't want to ask me any of that, man. I get all those things wrong when people are doing like the delta connections of times of posts that happen and say which I can't do it.
Yeah,
I don't even try to. I'm not a time fairy about it. So
Rigged for Red, Brazil is excellent. I own Brazil. That is another incredible film that I think that everybody here should watch. It was directed by Terry Gilliam. He actually did the animation for Monty Python when that was on the air back in the day. Well, Susan, what do you want me to talk about in regards to Mr. Floyd? I think that everything that we're looking at here in the world today is kind of tinged with the lens of the Floyd situation. We have anarchy popping up all over the world. It's not just here in America, but over the weekend, rioting and demonstrations popped up in the UK. We also have it popping off in Sweden. Tucker Carlson made an excellent point over the weekend. This is no longer a social organization. This is a political party. All right? They have half the country on their knees in the street making proclamations, apologizing for things they never did, all right? I'm half Irish, and the other half is from Central and Eastern Europe, okay? So my ancestors never owned anybody. We were the ones who were owned by other people, all right? But that doesn't matter to the people forcing us onto our knees to beg for the okay to go on with our lives. And then once we do that, then we have to completely subjugate ourselves to whatever the desires and whims are of this organization, which, as we just learned today, is actually a front for the Democratic Committee, the DNC. They are actually a money laundering operation. And this is coming from recently released documents. on what is the website? It is Open Secrets. Yes, opensecrets.org. So you donate money to BLM, and then that money goes on to Act Blue, which is essentially a money gathering front for the Democratic National Committee. It allows for them to collect money from overseas. So they can take in money, as much money as they want from anywhere, and then that money can be funneled into candidates, into the DNC, into whatever it is that they want. And it's a pretty stunning revelation, you know. So this is an article coming from the Gateway Pundit, and what they're doing is raising money on a global scale, whether it's the U.S., the U.K., Canada, and then, you know, when you think about it, this makes a lot of sense when you're seeing these riots and demonstrations pop up in other countries. You know, of course they're popping up there because they've got local bases of operation, because they're taking in money in these places, and they're using the power that they're gathering and creating in these areas to cause this unrest. Now, what was that quote that you sent over from Nigel Farage Methods about what's happening over there in the UK?
Right. I mean, he did a full-blown, like, 10-minute or something, like, video that he uploaded, and I'll have to grab it and put in the chat here in a few. But he was calling out essentially what you're talking about what BLM is doing, and talking about the agenda, and it's politically driven. And, you know, they use the word, I don't know if I can use the M word on this show. We've learned very well what words we can and cannot say. But like I said, I'll drop that link here in a minute. But he was talking about having the agenda of defunding the police and redistributing wealth, because if you see they're wanting to defund the police and put it in other locations, it is a form of a Trojan horse to dramatically go towards that agenda. And to your point about them being a political movement, you know, have we seen any BLM supporting Trump? Or any Republican for that matter? No. It's completely, and there might be some, I'm sure somebody that's BLM and is also supporting Trump, somebody's gonna send me a link. But I haven't, it's the mass majority, if not all of them, are leaned Democrat completely. So of course it's political on that. And to your point, that is the way that they're getting money to then fund into these campaigns, and that, you know, having enough degrees of separation, they feel like they can get away with it. So I'm glad that we're talking about this now, because this is a part of the campaign, whether you like it or not, or whether it started this way or not. This is part of the campaign for Democrats in November. Well, absolutely. So, I mean, think about what organizations are left in the United States that the Democrats don't completely control. I mean, it's not the military anymore. We're seeing that. I mean, the military has essentially been taken over by the left. The Pentagon has been taken over by the left. We have people talking about openly, engaging in mutiny against the president. But I'll tell you what, they certainly do not control law enforcement. Overwhelmingly, law enforcement officials vote Republican and are supporters of President Trump. Now, when they say that they want to disband the police, they're not going to just get rid of police, okay? They're just going to replace police with the people that they want to be enforcing laws. And they're going to be selectively enforcing these things. They want people who are not people of color to be subjected to whatever perceived ill will they feel that all people of color are subjected to on a daily basis. So that would mean partisan law officials who could potentially go into any neighborhood that they choose and decide to selectively enforce whatever rules it is that they want to enforce. And then they have the total control of the police, and then they can enact the police state, bringing us full circle back to 1984. The brown shirts. That's right. The brown shirts. Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, shout out to Victoria Gates is in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. If everybody remember, we had her on Comfy Sunday weeks back. That's right. So everybody say hey to her. And just real quick, when I see things like this in the chat, I want to say it. Trump Be Cool, been a real good friend of me on Twitter, says, hey, everyone, I never asked for prayers, but my wife's puppy is struggling for life right now. They told us we would have to put her down, prayed all night, miracles happening, please help. So everybody in the chat, you know, that a lot of us, especially like myself, who I don't have children, you know, my pets are our kids, basically.
Hell yeah.
And they're an extension of family. And I know that everybody here, there's a lot of people that have pets. So if you guys don't mind saying a prayer, that's just tragic to hear about. Trump be cool. And I appreciate anybody doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. Please pray for Trumpy Cool's puppy.
And real quick, I am dropping the Nigel Farage clip in the chat for you guys, just so it's there and available.
Kevin Brown, what is this? 2,000 plus unsealed indictments? What is the subject of these unsealed indictments, and who have they been unsealed against? I would really like to see that. I've got my email open if you want to send me something, and I will pull it up here on the air. Also, want to talk about the damage that's being inflicted upon these major metropolitan areas where these riots are taking place. So, you know, you've got this excellent clip that Sharp Edge pulled out from this CBS local article in Chicago. All right, so what it is, it's a conversation between the Chicago aldermen, multiple men, and women who are on the alder, whatever it is. It's like they're like city council members, and they're talking with the mayor. And of course, they're doing it by teleconference because CV-19. We can riot, but we can't, come together to talk about issues. So they are having a discussion, and one of the aldermen, says, I shudder to think what happens when all the stores have been looted, when all of the businesses have been burned out. What are they going to do next? Well, their stated goal and agenda is to go into the neighborhoods and enforce their will, okay? Make these people feel the pain that they feel has been inflicted upon other people for 400 years or whatever it is. And, and at that point, they're going to start pulling people out of their homes, and that's when they're going to start packing in the re-education camps. Well, with the people that they feel can be re-educated. But there was an explosive exchange between this alderman in Chicago and the mayor. The mayor just tries to glide past the question. And then he says, yeah, I demand an answer. You've given everybody else an answer here. I want to know your answer. What's going to happen when the businesses and the buildings are gone? What's going to happen to the neighborhoods? How are we going to keep people safe if we're disbanding the police? And her answer was that he was 100% full of SHIT, and they start this verbal sparring match. I highly recommend you guys watch that video. Check that out. I shared the Sharp Edge's tweet. It's on my Twitter timeline. If you didn't get it when I put it in there, you can go find it there.
Real quick,
yeah.
I'm dropping it in the chat now. I've had it ready to drop, but just as a disclaimer warning, there is language like what Red Pill said. That's one of the reasons why we can't exactly air it right now.
Yeah.
Because they do get into it, and the alderman stands up for himself and his people. So it's very, we were kind of laughing about it because the guy was like, hold on a second about it. But here's the link. And also, Sharp Edge is a great Twitter account. By all means, if you aren't following, do that when you go over to this tweet.
Yeah, Sharp Edge is certainly worth a follow. And if you've watched the show in the past, then you've seen her on the program on multiple occasions. She's actually come and done a couple interviews, and then I've used her tweets in the broadcasts. But I definitely recommend you guys watch this because this is what's taking place in Chicago. And this is not unique, okay? This is the same thing that's happening in Minneapolis, the same thing that's happening in any other city where they're talking about disbanding the police or replacing them with whatever types of peace officers they want to put in to play. And, just keeping in mind, in 1984, these people are not going to be your friends. They are not going to be the friends of the people of these cities. Now, the next piece of fallout as a result of all of the looting and the rioting and the burning, all of it, Chicago mayor is now pleading with Walmart and other companies not to leave the city. Okay, so their attitude is, why would we stay here when our property and our products are going to get burned, looted, destroyed? Okay, so we're just going to leave, all right? Peace. It's not worth it to us. We're going to lose too much money. How many insurance claims do you think they can have on a single location in 1 year before they start raising the insurance rates on them. They're going to start feeling the pain pretty quickly. And not to mention all of that merchandise. I guarantee you that not all of it is going to get replaced. They're not going to be able to bear the burden of this incredible loss that's going to happen. And then think about the psychological burden of the people in these communities who have nothing to do with the rioting or the looting or the destruction. And if they leave, then who's going to provide these people in the cities services? Who's going to provide them products that they need to live their lives on a daily basis? Well, the answer is that no one's going to. It's going to turn into a Mad Max-style post-apocalyptic wasteland, and you're going to have a mass exodus from these cities. Not only that, but these businesses pay a major portion of the tax burden in these major metropolitan cities. And if they pull out, then these cities will collapse in no time. It is going to be insane. But this is what they deserve because they wanted this. They called for it. They encouraged it. They told the police to stand down. I guarantee you that there is some type of catastrophic insurance available for these types of things. But if it happens on more than one occasion, I don't know, or perhaps in these instances, the insurance companies are going to say, whatever, let the city pay for it. The city is who allowed your store to get burned. The city's who allowed your Hot Topic to get looted by a bunch of protesters. No, they're not going to want to pay for it.
Right, and I'm dropping the article that you were just talking about here in the chat for everybody.
Hold on, I got to say hi to Thomas. Thomas, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, as far as what you're talking about, that is a repercussion of this. Mm-hmm. They're grandstanding because they don't want Trump or any Republican to get voted for. They want to cause this chaos, control the narrative. Second wave of the Kung Flu argument, that's going to be happening, kind of being talked about now. But you are going to have people leave these places when they especially see, like when they hear these clips, like for example of that Chicago mayor saying those kind of things. They're like, all right, well, this isn't going to get any better. I have kids, I have a business, I'm going to look to move. I see a lot of tweets about that. I've gotten personal messages from people saying, hey, where would you suggest I move? I live in this liberal state, insert name here. Mm-hmm. I see it on Twitter happening. There are those kind of changes, and I understand the staying and fighting type thing, but the fundamental change that occurs from them allowing the chaos to happen, it's obviously political to anybody that's paying attention, and a lot of people are paying attention that otherwise wouldn't because it's their neighborhoods on fire. Having all that danger occur, you're going to have like the real businesses moving out, people that are paying these taxes. Even if Walmart's talking about bailing, that's a big deal. And I know that we talk about, all right, we'll bring down all these big businesses anyways, let them suffer, but the greed of money is going to make them leave and hurt these states. Yeah. And then there's going to be fundamental change through voting, which you notice that's kind of been, I guess, call it the plan or call it how Trump sees things. Mm-hmm. Vote these people out, let the people decide. And let the fundamental change occur, because then what would happen? Let's just say that the mayor, and I don't know when they're back up for election, or if they can be, what's the word for it?
Recalled or something?
Yeah, recalled, or a vote of no trust or no confidence. No confidence. So I don't know how that necessarily works, but having them get replaced with somebody who hopefully is MAGA, but also just wants to do things right and build things up. Imagine how much money would then be spent, therefore taxes to come back in to fix these things, and therefore will help lift it back up. And I'm not trying to say that that's all part of the plan, let everybody destroy themselves to build it back up. Meanwhile, people are hurting, lives are getting lost, all that. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but this is the world we're watching happen. And I think that it's going to be a fundamental change that we're going to see. And I'm starting to have more and more of a feeling that places like California, for example, are going to be a lot more red in November than we could have expected when Trump got elected 4 years ago.
Yeah. A vast majority of people all across the United States do not recommend that you defund the police departments. As soon as the police are gone, the people who are calling for the police to be disbanded. They're going to be able to hire their own private security. They're going to have their own weapons and protection. Okay, the people who are going to suffer here are just the average rank and file people living in these towns, living in these cities. The people who, quite often have to call 911 because there are crimes being committed in their neighborhoods. It is already lawless abandon that we are seeing across the nation in these places. These governors, these mayors, they are literally destroying their states and their cities. And the only people that are going to suffer are the people who would otherwise be voting for them. So come November, President Trump sets himself up as the law and order candidate. He's the one who's going to make sure that these thugs do not continue to destroy our nation. I think you are going to see a major landslide for Republicans. And, I don't think it's going to end well for any of these people. They are so moronic, okay, just completely self-centered and focused on their own agenda, the agenda to destroy Trump. And they can't see the forest for the trees. They can't look in front of them and say, wow, do I hate Trump that much that I'm just going to let the people in my city completely burn it to the ground? I mean, is that really what we want? It is not the type of thing that I want in my city, and it's not the type of thing that I think you guys want in your city. Right now is probably the most important time in the history of our nation for our generation, okay? President Trump getting elected in 2016 was a banner year. But now they have shown that they are willing to completely set this country on fire just because they don't like what he's doing. And what he's doing is making the country a better place, okay? If President Trump isn't here, then our goose is cooked. It's all over. Maybe we should move to Canada, which is only going to be slightly better than the United States if they decide to take over and remove him. That is a last case resort. Now, there is other things that I would like to suggest that we do, but I'm going to wait and see what happens in November. I honestly do believe that President Trump is going to be elected. So tongue-in-cheek when I say go to Canada. But I cannot imagine living in a country where the Dems control everything all over again, where we have an Empress Hillary Clinton. It would be a very, very scary time, and people like us would not be safe just to walk down the street.
Oh, absolutely. And Rob Hawkins in the chat says this, and I think it dovetails what you're talking about. He says the swamp is too deep. Seeing everything that's happened, everybody go back and think about the last few years and who's starting to show their ugly side of things, and just all the way across the board into, the intelligence communities, all the way down to local officials, police, even certain ones, all that stuff going on. I didn't even know the swamp was this deep. I believe that evil was so abound in this world that, it would be bigger than we could ever imagine. But Rob's got a point that it is that deep. But the question that you have to ask yourself, even when you have that feeling of how can we fix this, the hope kind of just drops a little bit, is why not fight to the bitter end to see it be better than what's expected? Because think about what Red Pill just said. If we had Empress Hillary Clinton, which is a great way to refer to her if she would have became president, having all these things occur now, do you think that she would have had patriots, people in this movement, MAGA, everything, had their interest at heart? Do you think that or would we be the ones taking this? Because, Hillary would be out there kneeling with everybody else right now and supporting this movement. And it would be way worse. So, and we weren't that far off from that happening. So the next election, and then, we get past that and keep the right people in place and hopefully get better ones in place. And then we've got 2 to 4 more years of fighting even more so to expose the swamp, but also just better the people itself. I've been finding a lot of people running for Congress, and I don't like to call them out and stuff necessarily because they kind of just show up in likes and stuff. They're following more and more of this movement in general. People that are running and trying to get in for change, even on their local state level. So we've got when you say, the swamp is too deep, we can't stop it. The better question that you need to ask yourself is, what can you do to fight to the bitter end where you look back and say, I had no regrets, at least I tried.
Yeah.
And that the collective energy of all of us doing that is how we've gotten as far as we have so far.
So somebody in the chat asked if we get the money that goes through the chat. They took all that away. That was called Super Chats, and because this is my channel, that was going to me. But Methods and I both have other means of support that the mods share if you guys are so inclined. And I just want to go ahead and say thank you to a couple of people. Judy says, for Fifth Element here, continue blessings for the truth. And then also Brenda. Thank you very much to Brenda and Judy. So, you know, this is a very scary time, and obviously, guys, it was a joke when I said go to Canada. I don't want to move to Canada. I want to live in my own country. I want to be a free man in the country where I was born. I want to be able to continue to raise my family here. I want to have a future, okay? It was a joke. If Hillary Clinton were in charge, then Canada, which is a place I don't want to go, would be slightly better than the United States. But I certainly don't want to go to Mexico either. I don't want to go to any other country. Okay, I don't want to have to run. It's the same reason I don't want to have to leave this platform. I built myself on this platform. I raised myself in this country. I have my own home, my own land, my own set of, you know, things that I like to do on a regular basis in my own country. I don't want to be forced out. I don't want to be forced into doing things that I don't agree with. I don't want to pretend that I'm willing to bow down to anybody else but God. Okay, I'm not going to be forced into doing some BS like that because these people are trying to make everybody feel bad for things they had nothing to do with. It's an absolute ridiculous assertion. All they want is power. It's about maintaining and creating power and allowing themselves to get more powerful. President Trump is an existential threat to everything that these people represent. He is taking our country in the right direction, a place where all men, women, and children, no matter what religion you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what faith you are, anything, whoever you are, as long as you're an American and you're honest and you're hardworking and you follow the rules and the laws and you keep yourself within the boundaries of what our nation's based upon, then you can become and do whatever it is that you want to do. All right? I am so sorry that people in the past were subjugated and forced into things that they didn't want to do, and they were ripped away from their countries. What about what about that situation that's happening in Libya right now? Okay? What about the modern day version of that's happening right now? I mean, do they have to wait 400 years before they get their own justice? I mean, this is what President Trump started addressing as soon as he came into office. He immediately started addressing human trafficking, okay? Forced labor, you know? What about China? They have camps full of people who are working who are working jobs for nothing, I should say, so that they can live just long enough to have their kidneys harvested on the day and date that the person with enough money can come over there and pay to have it done. What about those people? All right? America does not have the market cornered on human suffering. All right? This is just an issue that they are trying to force upon us to trick the people who are not smart enough to think for themselves into believing that they are the most evil and vile examples of human nature on the face of the planet. Absolutely not the case. All right? People have been badly behaved and treated others terribly for tens of thousands of years. All right. And I think that you go back far enough, and I don't even think it's possible to really discover the genesis of any of it. Okay. I mean, if you want to get real technical, you go back to Cain and Abel. All right. First time
Right.
we had real evil committed on this earth, and they were brothers. All right. It wasn't about race. But then at some point, everybody split off. But I would imagine that among each of those tribes, each of those societies, there was some level of evil and horrific behaviors going on. But, you know, here we are today. And all we can do is be better. All we can do is be better and be a good person. Just be a good person. All right? I'm not apologizing for the sins of forefathers that aren't even related to me. Okay? That's just an absolute load of horse pucky. That's not going to happen.
No, I totally agree with you on that. And Wheezy Girl in the chat says, if you don't mind slowing the chat, because we've got about 4,800 people here hanging out.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't even realize.
They're probably just holding on for dear life because we have the greatest mods on YouTube, but
Yeah.
You know how it goes. They've got to be able to keep up with things.
Sorry, ladies.
No, we thank you guys for what you gals do. But to your point on that, you take everything that Red Pill just said, but because they want us to apologize. They want us to feel, that we need to be in submission. They want us to be all in beta stage during all this, and not just, because they're turning it on everybody. It's not just about that, but they do want us. I know our favorite Anon says it, and we're saying words that have been said for the last 2.5 years repeatedly. They do want us divided. And what better way than by the color of your skin that you didn't get to decide when you were born? So having those things happen, they're playing to the most like stripped down versions, like the most simplistic but most cutting through parts of life. They made you fear for your life and survival with a virus that to me is becoming more and more garbage and nonsense every day that passes. And you could tell by how they're even treating it. I mean, the best thing coming out of it is watching Jerry Nadler try to take off the face mask. That was absolutely hilarious. But because it is to the point of they have to put it on because they have that narrative going as well. But we're going to let you guys protest because, how I even saw somebody say how brave people are to risk getting the virus by going out and protesting. And I was like, that's how far things have gone. Like, we could sit here all day, Red Pill, and talk about how we're not going to apologize and it's not our fault and we need to do all that. But also we have to remember why are they doing it? It's because they want us all separated and divided. Because if you notice, this movement is from people that came together from all over the world, and now we make waves and essentially run a lot of narratives on the internet. If you pay attention, Sharp Edge, that clip, for example, she went and grabbed it, and now Daily Caller's got it. I saw Dana Loesch from the NRA retweeted her. I mean, it jumped 50,000 views in 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean, and that came from an Anon in this movement. So when you can see through it, yes, it's sickening. Yeah, it's frustrating and even get angry and stuff. But to me, I like to be grateful that I can see through it. And I want other people to see through it, because then real change is going to occur in the right way, because the old tactics are just not going to work.
Real Red Pill Girlfriend, honey, I'm so glad that you made it. I knew that you had a meeting. I need to say thank you to Maria. Thank you to Mary. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to Christine. Thank you to Maria. Thank you to Dina. Thank you to all of you. And I know that there was probably a whole bunch from yesterday while I was off that I missed. So if I have not said your name on the air, just know that I have read through them, and I really appreciate it, guys. And thank you for the support. Man, it's an easy thing to take a look at this country and see what's going on and to kind of throw up your hands and just say, I'm done, but the whole point of what we're talking about and what we're saying here is that we have a responsibility not to do that. We have got to stay the course, and we must see this thing through. We have to put President Trump back into office in November. It is our moral obligation to allow him to continue the work that he's done in this first term. That second term, the gloves will be off, you guys. He will be able to do and say whatever he wants. He doesn't have to worry about getting put back into office again. It's his last term, and I truly believe that we will see more fundamental changes in that second term than we have already in this term. And I think we've had a lot. Okay, I think that we've had many, many good things happen so far in the last couple of years with President Trump here. Now, at the same time, we've also had many horrible things happen because the left, the Dems, they are countering every move that President Trump makes. But we have to be here. We have to remain so that we can be here to support him and to continue to spread the message. I see Dave McHugh says, can't wait for the second term. I'm not saying that nothing's going to happen before the second term. I'm just saying that we're going to see exponential growth in the second term. The NASDAQ hit 10,000 today. 10,000. That is another record in terms of growth on the tech stocks in the stock market. With the Dow Jones, it was at 28,000 the last time I saw. This is quite literally the fastest recovering recession in the history of the world. So it's just going to continue on, guys. We just have to protect ourselves and make it through the next couple of months. Everything is going to be okay. President Trump is going to continue to just, be a baller in the White House. He is incredible, doing wonderful things for our country. But it's up to us to support him and to make sure that we do everything we can to help him get back into office and keep doing it. If you guys have a rhino in your district, all right, I would highly suggest finding another candidate to run against them. Find a MAGA candidate. You know, Deanna Lorraine was just here on Sunday. That girl had a lot of heart, okay? Like a big move for somebody who's never run for political office to come out swinging as a Trump supporter, as full MAGA, and, you know, being part of our movement as well, and go up against Nancy Pelosi. That is a dangerous proposition, and I know plenty of people who would probably be a little leery about their own personal safety doing something like that in California. But you know, we need to make sure that every Republican that we elect is going to be 100% MAGA, who's going to support President Trump, like, until the very end. You know, I'm sick of people like Mitt Romney. I am just absolutely ill when I see people like that. But, you know, there's a reason President Trump wants him there. And maybe it's just to, you know, to throw spitballs off of. I don't know. What do you think Mitt Romney could add to the plan methods if you had to brainstorm on it?
Oh, him actually being, you know, on our side? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. As a useful idiot.
Oh, no. I just think he's an idiot. That's how I feel about it. I mean, he voted for, you know, Trump to be removed from office. I've got no worth or any value in him whatsoever. Even though I live on the other side of the U.S., I can't stand him. But just, I mean, to that whole point, but real quick before we go, we're pretty close to 5,000 people hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. 1.9 thousand likes I see on my side. If you guys don't mind turning that thumb blue, we would really, really appreciate it. It helps us get this out there. And like you were saying earlier, thank you guys for hitting us up on PayPal. We really appreciate it. But to that whole point about it, it's, I know that we talk about, you know, the immediate, you know, the arrest, the second term, before, after. We need to be doing more. There's a lot of winning. Because, I mean, I feel like some people at times forget how many times we had those days that we got to use the word winning, and we're excited. Like, it goes on, because we'll even see people get excited about our favorite Anon dropping a lot of truth bombs and connections, and then a week later it's in, you know, our favorite Anon's taking a break or something, and it's like, oh, nothing's happening. It goes through these waves. It's this immediate now or whatever. Maybe it's because of the dopamine things that we get from the likes and retweets that they trained us to have. It's kind of created this culture. But anyway, that's a different conversation. As far as, there is the immediate, obviously getting Trump reelected, obviously getting through this summer, see something, say something. I saw that in the chat. You know, everybody be careful. This is about the future that goes even past Trump's election. You know, we have to be building towards that. The people that have children, the next generation, you know, hopefully, you know, God willing, all of us lived through Trump's second term. You know, I know things happen, but there is a brighter future that we're building towards that's going to take time and live on past us as we reach our goal. We just want to spend our time now, like Red Pill and I and all the many other people, I'm not even going to try to name them all, that are doing the kind of stuff that we are doing, especially on this platform. We want to lay that groundwork, and if anything, give that motivation to create the next generation of people doing this past our time. We know that it takes the grunt work now to create that future. So yes, of course, it's all about, you know, the election now and the immediate and getting through all these things, but we also need to see the bigger picture itself, that it's going to take a long time for us to work on things way past just like people being held accountable for what happened in 2016. If anything, take all the stuff that's being exposed and how evil things are, and imagine how much work that's going to take. And you think evil is just going to wave the white flag, you know, no pun intended there, but you get my point. And just say, all right, you guys win. We'll just show up in 1,000 more years. You know, it's always going to be that battle, but that's why we're on this earth. I mean, I really do believe that a lot of people in this movement were meant for this moment in time. So to me, I don't want to look back and say I didn't do enough. And I just think that we just need to keep going regardless of, you know, whether we get frustrated or things don't line up how they need to be, or, you know, a certain, like, let's say a state election happens and a Democrat happens to win. You know, discouragement happens, yes, and all that, but we always need to keep fighting. Say, all right, well, we have another day to get up for and fight.
So a couple of things. I saw somebody in the chat earlier said that I don't trust anyone who raps. You don't say that too quickly, because there are people who are, who have been raised in an urban environment or who appreciate hip hop and listen to it and might do it themselves, and they are bona fide Trump supporters, okay? This movement must be inclusive to the degree where it's about being American. It's not about being compartmentalized into the types of people that you are, okay? We're all Americans. We're all going for the same goal, which is to live free, to be able to take care of our families, and to have the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, okay? That is the most important thing. So just because somebody knows how to rap or makes music doesn't mean that they are somebody that we can't trust. Now, to that end...
No, a great example of that, Luke Slytalker's in the chat.
Oh, yes. Luke has some licks, dude. Luke knows what's up.
He can rap. Shout out to Severe Anon. Yeah. Everybody should know him. Bryson Gray.
Yep.
All that. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to point that out. Hey, what's up, brother Luke? Good to see you here.
Yeah. So, everything Methods just said, I was going there. But to the point of, maybe somebody we shouldn't trust, Ice Cube, and I was trolling him a little bit. I don't know that everybody understood what I was doing today, but Ice Cube put out a tweet, which was an image from Veronica Wolski. She's that the People's Bridge lady in Chicago. She has signs that say "media is complicit," #treason, and then she has the 17th letter of the alphabet. So Ice Cube just put that tweet out, and I figured more than likely that he's not a supporter of President Trump. He's not a supporter of this movement. I've seen a lot of anti-Trump stuff on his timeline. But what I wanted was to create some interaction between people in this movement and maybe some normies on his timeline and Ice Cube himself. Friday and next Friday and the Friday after next, those came out when I was younger. I saw them in the theater and I enjoyed them at the time. I thought they were pretty funny. Now, he specifically answered the question of whether or not he understands who our favorite Anon is, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't. He's been doing a lot of stuff recently that is in line with the goals of this movement, who we want to unseat. We want to take our country back, get rid of this power structure that has been in place for so long. Now, he has also said some, unflattering things about the president, shared some memes recently, but I found some clips showing him talking somewhat favorably about the president, certainly more favorably than anyone else in his profession has spoken about. I wanted to start this dialogue and mix it up between these people. And, whether or not you feel that he actually is a follower of this movement or not is irrelevant, because the point was he put it out to all of his followers. Think about how many people saw that message on the bridge that the press is complicit in treason, and then the 17th letter of the alphabet. How many new people do you think got eyes on that and started, saying that I want to investigate that. I want to know what that means. I want to know what is being talked about there. And regardless of whatever Ice Cube says, you've still got a lot of new eyes making up their mind about what this means. Hecklerin Koch says Ice Cube was a Trump supporter. I saw him say good things about the president. Now, whether or not he is a supporter of the president or whether he's just trying to save his career, because if he was to come out and say, Donald Trump all the way, he'd probably get committed like Kanye did. All right. And that is a whole other different argument there with Kanye. But I thought it was pretty interesting, and I put some of the tweets where I found him talking about the president. So I'm gonna put that in there. You guys can check it out. But I was trolling Ice Cube. Sorry, Ice T was the other one. I saw a great meme, which was a glass of iced tea with Ice T's face and a bunch of ice cubes in it. I thought that was pretty funny. But we were talking earlier, and go post your best memes on Ice's thread here. Put the most convincing and densest pieces of information that you can find and put it on that thread. So when people go to it, they can say, well, geez, I mean, maybe this isn't what I'm hearing about. But also, the fact that he shared this, it just blew the minds of some major left-wing reporters. And, a splinter in the backside of some of these people, I am more than happy to help facilitate. So go ahead and check that out. I posted that there. There was something else that I wanted to talk about with you guys.
Before you move on from that, you're right about that, because there is a thing of like saving the career, or staying relevant, or getting people to chat. So you don't ever know the intentions of people sharing stuff. He could have just liked the meme, and thought Q was something else. But having those red pills dropped, you don't know who's lurking. I also find it hilarious to watch like the liberal people show up and try to help him understand real quick.
Yeah,
like no, you don't want to share that. That's from that cult. It's pretty funny to me, but it does end up creating a paper trail tied to someone's name that is famous of all this information. So if there are those people out there, they're like, well, I keep hearing about this thing, but I haven't seen stuff. So that's why dropping like the best like introductory red pill on those are always best, instead of going straight to the deep end on certain things. Just bring it to a certain stage, because it is planting a seed. And they could see that and be like, oh, well, that's intriguing. Let me go a little bit further. So the fact that he did it, I'm not going to say white hat, black hat, whatever.
Yeah.
He just shared it, whether he just wants to be relevant or have some attention drawn to him, or just didn't know. But there is the cause and effect of what Red Pill was talking about that's worthwhile.
Also, I want to address, Stone Faith Patriot. I find the term normies very offensive. I'm a 62-year-old American patriot. Well, you're watching our show, that means that you're red-pilled, and that means that you're not a normie. Now, if you are offended by the term normie, which is not a term meant to be offensive, I think that you've perhaps listened to too much mainstream media. Our goal here is not to offend anyone. Our goal here is to open minds. If you're a normie, that means that you have not yet had that noggin cracked, and you haven't started broaching some of these subjects that we talk about. You're here watching the show, so therefore you're among the RP family. All right? People who are normies are people on Ice Cube's timeline who have never heard about this movement, who've never considered the fact that President Trump is anything other than what the mainstream media is telling them. Don't allow yourself to fall into the outrage culture that they have tried for so many years to draw us into. People are going to say what they say, and how you react to it is about what's inside of you. All right? There's nothing wrong with you. If you were normie, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's just a word. It's just a word. That's all it is. It's a word.
Well, we've got to get back to being able to use certain words and understand the intention based on the person themselves. Because when we had the word boomer drop last week, and it ended up having to become a chat discussion. Whether it's used as a joke or a point of reference, or we might be being sarcastic and you not get it. I want to be able to talk freely, and I know we always end up back at this conversation, but that's the point of it. Like, we need to be able to talk how we talk. We want to be genuine and real with people. And I mean, besides me making sure I don't say certain 4-letter words and stuff on the show, or certain things like that, or saying words that obviously they want to demonetize over, we still want to be able to be ourselves, and we want everybody else to be themselves. Like, going around policing people, doing all this stuff, if a word triggers you, I'm sorry that it does. If it triggers you and it comes from Red Pill, and I'll speak for him in this, that wasn't intentional.
No,
it was a part of the conversation. It's the word we chose and the train of thought. And that's pretty much all I have to say, but I'm sure it'll come up again in the future. So that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I mean, and there is nothing that we say here that is designed to belittle or offend people. But again, if there is something that you hear that offends you for some reason, ask yourself, why is that the case? I mean, what's wrong with being the word normie? I mean, at one point, to be called a normie was probably more along the lines of a compliment. Okay, well, you're normal. Okay, your proportions are correct. You look the way that people expect you to look. You're not the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're a normie. All right. But now we're talking about people and their level of awakeness. All right. And there is nothing offensive about that comment. All right. So please, everyone, we should be able to have a dialogue here, have an exchange of words, speak freely with each other. Okay. I'm not calling anyone ugly. I'm not calling anyone, short, fat, skinny, whatever it is. There's nothing designed that I'm speaking that is supposed to offend you. And if you are offended, you got to ask yourself why. Have you been caught up in the mainstream media narrative of compartmentalization for so long? Do you think that if people talk to you that they are using violence against you, you're still stuck in that old paradigm? All right? We are here together so that we can have an exchange of ideas, a free exchange of ideas. And as long as you're not going after someone with, some direct attack on who they are, you can say whatever you want here, okay? Everyone here at one point was a normie, all right? But then you started thinking about this world and what it really means and what's been going on this whole time and how you've been lied to, all right? You cracked that egg and you started thinking differently. And now here we are, we're here together, and we're going to make it, okay? And you don't have to be offended. There's nothing to be offended by.
Yeah, well said, Boomer.
Yeah, you're right, exactly, Boomers again. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was we discussed this a little bit. I think it was it on Thursday or was it on Comfy Sunday?
Talked about what?
Oh, about Prince Andrew. Was that on Comfy Sunday?
Might have been. I don't know. These shows run together, man.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, here's the point. So if you weren't here when we talked about it, the Department of Justice has made a request directly to the Home Office, the Secretary of the Home Office. I don't know how they say it. Anybody in the UK here that can talk about it, then please tell me how to word it. But the Home Office, I think that it's their equivalent of maybe like the Secretary of State, and they've requested access to Prince Andrew. Okay. Now I put this tweet out, and I thought it was interesting that the method by which they requested access to Prince Andrew was through something called the Mutual Assistance Program, or as it's colloquially known, the MAP. And I thought back to Q168 and follow the map. Obviously, things that we've been told in these drops have multiple meanings, but I said, based upon the knowledge that we have of foreign nationals and these different countries through the Five Eyes program and more, being involved in Spygate and many other things like the mysteriously deceased billionaire Jeffrey, all of these things together was the person writing that post at that time pointing to this mutual assistance program, because there was an agreement between Britain and the UK to allow access to people who are being investigated for particular crimes or who our country wants to question. So normally the protocol would be for them to go to Buckingham Palace, and then Buckingham Palace would make the request to the Home Secretary. But in this case, they just went right around Buckingham Palace because they've been stonewalling for so long. Prince Andrew just refused to even talk to the DOJ or the FBI. So
but publicly he was saying that he was going to fully comply. You remember that? Yeah. So yeah, it's funny that this comes out now when he was like being proud of "I will work with anybody."
Yeah. So yes, and Ford Nation says that MAP also means something else. It's the something attracted person. I don't want to say it out loud. It's disgusting. But, this could mean a different interpretation of the acronym for MAP. In the context of the post, I think that MAP also is referring to a visual representation of information. The movements and communications and transfer of funds was mapped out for this radical organization that was just designated as a T organization here in the United States, who's behind all the destruction that we're seeing. That James O'Keefe and the good folks at Project Veritas have just released their third video exposing that organization. So map obviously has multiple meanings. I just thought it was interesting that perhaps map could mean something else in this case, and in fact it does, because MAP is the acronym for the Mutual Assistance Program. It's different from the treaty that we have with Ukraine, which requires us to help each other with criminal investigations, but it's similar in that we have guaranteed each other that we're going to be, doing this. And it might actually be in the same program under which Julian Assange was withdrawn from the embassy. What was that? The Ecuadorian embassy in the UK? Yeah. So just an interesting thought. I just thought it would be neat to bring it up. And I think that it's something we need to keep our eyes on, because Prince Andrew has got to be sweating bullets right now, unless he hides out in Buckingham Palace and never leaves ever again. There is no way that he's going to be able to avoid being brought in by the authorities in the UK and then questioned by the FBI and the DOJ in regards to what he knew and when about Jeffrey's transnational criminal organization that has ties to people all across the globe. Terrible, terrible things. So Emmy wants to know, is my queen compromised? I'm not a citizen of the UK. I would say that a lot of people believe that she is, and on the same token, I know that a lot of people believe that she isn't. All I know is innuendo and rumor, and so I can't say for certain one way or the other. Why don't we get a poll in the chat? If you think that the queen and the royal family are, good patriots and taking care of the UK, give us a 1. If you think they're compromised and you think that they're up to dirty goods, give us a 2. 1 for a good queen, 2 for a bad queen. And I'm interested to know who thinks what.
Yeah, because the president always talks very highly of her.
Well,
and you know what that means. It could go in any direction. I mean, he's called people beautiful that I personally wouldn't consider that. But
yes.
With that said, but okay, we see in the chat. What was it? You said 1 for what? 2 for what?
1's a good queen, 2 is a bad queen. I am seeing predominantly 2s.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That would kind of be the overall opinion, anyways, based on the research and stuff that we do. She would know quite a lot, even though she, other people are obviously running a lot of her, control panel stuff that she would be doing. She would obviously know a lot. And the fact that any of these people don't go on press conferences and say all the truth and stuff, makes me wonder about it. But yeah, as far as the Prince Andrew thing goes, he obviously would crack under pressure. The I don't sweat Prince Andrew. He would obviously crack under pressure. And I think that getting him to testify, I think he would end up ratting a lot of people. Because why is he avoiding if he can just go? He could have freely went and talked to them and just say, I'm not going under oath, but I'll freely talk. And they're just saying he won't even come talk to them at all. No. Which lets you know that there's plenty. That's a Pandora's box getting him to talk. So I'm all for it. I say go pick him up. Do we have the same kind of treaty that we do with places like Ukraine?
It's different. The treaty with Ukraine is like a specific agreement. This mutual assistance program is slightly different, but it's similar. So yeah, I would say that the majority of the chat seems to agree that the royal family is up to some no good. I've heard some terrible things, and like I said, I try to reserve judgment. Oh, and you guys, I just hit 70,000 followers on Twitter.
Congrats, bud.
That's a milestone. I appreciate everybody who is following me over there. We just hit 227,000 followers on YouTube. Let's see. Oh my gosh, we're almost at 228,000. I'm going to ask everybody here, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, we only need 67 more subscribers to hit 228,000. So please, if you were going to subscribe, right now would be the time. This would be the time to do it. So thank you very much to everybody who is subscribed. We appreciate it here. And then, as always, I encourage you to go and subscribe to Method's channel, because there are great things coming up in the future. And yeah, no one else has subscribed yet. Everybody must be subscribed.
Yeah, I mean, they should be, man.
Yeah.
We have a dedicated, hangout with a lot of people here. I see the same names all the time. It's, our moment to all hang out and chat about things. So it's pretty cool. And I do want to mention this now before we mention it at the end of the show when people are heading out the door. I know we typically announce who's going to be on Comfy Sunday on Thursdays or maybe even Fridays and stuff like that. But I wanted to make sure that we brought it up now, and I'm going to grab his Twitter account while I'm talking about it. We've referred to our buddy Woke Societies, which he doesn't mind me calling him his name, so his name's Scott. Calling him woke doesn't really work with him that well at times, but he runs his own channel. You could find it on his Twitter account. I'm gonna drop it here now. He's gonna be our buddy hanging out with us for the full 2 hours next Sunday. You guys get to know him. He's became a really good close friend to me and Red Pill. We like hanging out and chatting with each other. He gets it.
Yeah.
And to have just another person hang out with us and cover whatever craziness is going to be this week. Are we going to get the alien invasion? We all know. We'll talk about it. We'll go through all these things. So I'm going to drop it again. Make sure you go over there and follow him on Twitter. And then in his bio, he has the link to his YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check it out.
And then also, I just want to make the announcement for who's going to be on the live streams this weekend. My friend Miriam Hanane, she originally came on the show talking about her documentary about bees, and she's kind of like a naturopath. She's into alternative medicine and healing. So the FDA is actually going against her. And they have done some pretty staggering things to try to discredit her and destroy her business. So she's going to be here to talk about it on Friday. So if you guys are interested in that, please do come. And then on Saturday, one of the biggest names in this movement, Praying Medic, is going to be here. Hold on. We're going to be talking in part about his book, The Calm Before the Storm, Q Chronicles Book 1, and then we're going to be talking about his journey to becoming the Praying Medic. So definitely let people know, be here for those shows. We're going to have 3 incredible shows this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, somebody had sent me an article that they also, I believe, Methods, they sent to you and Real Red Pill Girlfriend. Here we go. It's from Red Pill Patriot. Duke asked to testify in the Jeffrey case. It was first reported in The Sun. Previously said he did not witness any suspicious behavior, although he was captured on film, allowing young women to come and go from the brownstone in Manhattan. And he stepped away from his royal duties last year after that horrendous interview on the BBC. And then Jeffrey mysteriously took care of everything just a little bit after that. Let's see. So under the terms of the MLA request, if Prince Andrew does not voluntarily respond, he can be called to a UK court to answer questions. There's no getting around it, okay? He has to comply. And if they're giving him the option to do it voluntarily. If he doesn't do it voluntarily, they're going to compel him to come in. So what we're seeing right here is a big step forward in potentially getting justice. Because you can bet that whatever it was that Jeffrey knew, I think that Andrew was in on it pretty much. Charles Pixley, who do you offend, brother? Charles Pixley is not an offensive man. Not at all. So if anybody has a friend with Charles, then just watch my shows with him. Charles is an amazing guy. Let's see. Who else do we have here today? What is going on with the chat? How do I find RP78 on Twitter? It's at RedPill78 on Twitter. At RedPill78. Yeah, special shout out to the mods, Charles, Methods as always, Wheezy, Jojo, Real Red Pill Mom, Real Red Pill Girlfriend, if Karma Anon, if you're here, if anybody else is here, White Hat, I saw White Hat earlier, So yeah, thank you guys for being here, and thank you for helping keep the chat comfy. Appreciate you. I think this is a really big move, guys. You know, I don't think that the DOJ would be requesting it in the way that they are requesting it unless they have some information that they already know and they need Andrew to come confirm it or deny it. And then if he denies it and they have the goods on him, it's going to be immediate charges. And because of that mutual assistance program, you know, we might see a British royal ending up here in an American prison. I think that that would be the best possible situation. Madam Curry says, did you get my email from Maine? I don't know. I get so many emails and I don't really remember much after I read it and if I answer. You know, I have to say this again. If I don't respond to an email that you guys sent, it is nothing personal. It is simply because I get many hundreds of emails a day. So what I have to do is like search for keywords like on any given day and go through and try to find, you know, if somebody sent me something about, you know, this or that. I did have some people sending me emails in the last 2 days about rocks and minerals because I talked about being a rock hound. That was pretty cool to see. But you know, I mean, by and large, guys, it's very difficult for me to track your emails. If I respond to you, then just know that, you know, that's a big thing because I can only respond to a couple at a time. I have had a lot of people signing up on Patreon, so that is extremely incredible. Also, you guys, I was on a podcast yesterday with a ton of people from the Truth Movement. You know, Tommy G was there, Kate Awakening was there, Woke Societies was there, Ben Swan was there, Luke Rudkowski was there. You know, there was too many people to even name. So what I'm going to do is drop this in the chat. And hold on. Stone Faith Patriot says, I've been woke since the 70s. I haven't watched or listened to mainstream media for decades. It's a joke. Y'all misunderstood my point. We don't want to. I got trolled.
Hey, well, we were able to talk about things we obviously wanted to say because, you know, we deal with certain things like that, you know, every once in a while. Real quick, just in the chat, I see a lot of people asking again, when is Praying Medic going to be on? He's going to be on Red Pill's Saturday night show. Yeah, on Saturday night. And then our buddy Woke Societies will be on with us on Comfy Sunday, hanging out with us for the full show. So, and then who was your Friday again?
Friday is Miriam Hanane, the bee lady.
Yeah, the bee lady. So yeah, another great weekend.
It's deeper than that. She's like a naturopath. But Gafferanon says, I made sure the shirt was made in America, and that it was. That it was, my friend. This is a quality American product. It has a 1-year warranty on the shirt itself. I couldn't believe it. I mean, yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty great. Dana Smith says, most of you guys are noobs. I don't know how many people here are new. We need to do like I have to find a way to do polls, like to do like an effective poll. I think that there are means to do that. Like I could do it through Streamlabs. I'm trying to move over to Streamlabs so that I can, you know, incorporate some of those things, maybe some graphics on the screen, kind of make it interesting.
Well, you can actually take this even further into a conversation for the rest of the show on what we're working on and to expand on past just YouTube. Yeah,
there are other platforms that I'm looking at. I'm in the process of having a website built. So listen, it's going to have a whole bunch of cool features. There's going to be the option for people to join a membership section, which would mean that they would get all the content from YouTube and a little bit more completely away from YouTube. And there's going to be like an email sign up so you get notified when I put out new work. There's going to be a blog. There's going to be a forum so you guys can all talk to each other. I'm going to have like all the posts embedded. You know, Real Red Pill Girlfriend and I have like a list of all of like these features that I want to have. So basically all you're going to have to do is go to the Red Pill 78 website, and it's going to have everything that you need. It'll have my Twitter there. It'll have different types of message boxes. So like you got a tip you want to send me, it goes to one email. You just want to say, you know, hey, I appreciate your work. That goes to another email. You want to, you know, talk about coming on the show, that goes to another email. And Diggity USA 1, careful, the 5G is going to get you. there is no 5G here, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I don't adapt to 5G in my own personal life. So,
and real quick, Figaro in the chat was asking about podcasts. And we are having that discussion of taking, like, for example, all the quarantine episodes. I can tell everybody.
Yes, you can tell them. Yes, yes.
We're taking all the previous episodes of Quarantine and the ones that we've done with Comfy Sunday, and especially here with Occam's Razor, and also the interviews and stuff Red Pill's had over on weekends and stuff. We're going to be uploading them on podcast platforms.
Yep.
For audio for people to listen to later, or, you know, to catch it if you prefer using that instead of YouTube. We figure, why not just let it fall into the YouTube ether?
Yep.
Why do we not just re-upload them, cut down and stuff to where it's just the interview of certain people, and like if it's 2 hours and there's 2 separate interviews, they'd be split. Just basically creating it to have more access to it across platforms that people want to use. So that's the direction that we're going to be going with things with this channel here. And then obviously I'm going to be working on some stuff, and I know we keep talking about it. Give me a little bit of time here. I've got to get certain things in place to be able to work on stuff I want to do. And I know I'm kind of keeping my cards close to my chest, but that's just like how I roll. So, but there are things in the works that I'm going to be doing on my channel. That's how we have been promoting my YouTube channel that has nothing on it, which I have over 6,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for doing that. It's pretty cool. But no, it's definitely something I plan on doing in the future as well. So us narrowing things down from a 5-day-a-week quarantine to these 2 days that we get to spend time with you guys together is opening the door for us to do a lot of things. So we are pretty excited about it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of different options for you guys. In the chat right there, there was the show I was on last night. The podcasts are coming up very quickly. The website itself, like the framework, is all done. All of those features have to be built into it. But like my goal is to make it so that you can go to the Red Pill 78 website and you can do everything that you might want to do. Like you'll be able to see my tweets. I think I'll have an Instagram on there. I actually did just start up an Instagram. I mean, I had it a long time ago, but I just abandoned it. But some friends who are like big with marketing said that I should start using it. So you can follow me on Instagram at redpill78news if you have an Instagram account. And I'm doing my best to try to like do little things here and there on each of these different platforms, so that everybody will follow. And then if something happens on any one of them, you can go to any of them and then get the latest update to see what's going on. Please, there are 2 backup YouTube channels that I have created in the description of this video. If you can, consider subscribing to those, because if something happens on this channel, I'm going to have to go to another channel, and I've only got less than 1/10 of the subscribers on one of those backup channels. Yeah, Real Red Pill Girlfriend, you guys are going to be able to talk to each other on the website. There's going to be a forum. So we're going to have like, you know, memes and stuff. There's going to be, you know, people can like make threads, you know, think of like it's a message board. It's going to be a message board. So you guys can do like live digs on certain things from the posts, you know, I mean, like the new posts are going to go right in there. That's going to be probably courtesy of my buddy at qag.news. It's going to have basically everything you could possibly want. I'm super, super excited about it. I'm really, really glad that we're finally getting it off the ground. I am very lucky to have Methods helping me, to have Real Red Pill Girlfriend helping me, to have my other, like, you know, brand new set of people behind the scenes. It's an incredible blessing, and this is going to become something more than I ever imagined it was going to be. So stick around, make sure you subscribe and follow all of these various things. If you don't have these other types of social media accounts, maybe just sign up just so you can follow me there so that you'll know if something happens. But I really do think that the email list is going to be key, because that's going to allow me to send you out a message every single time I publish. Like I said, I'm also going to have a blog, so maybe I'll just, you know, be writing my thoughts. Honestly, with those other backup channels, one of them I would like to be able to start doing like a vlog, you know, or it's like me hanging out with the dogs or, you know, walking in the field. And then, you know, I can talk about other stuff. You know, I have a format on the main channel. Even if I have different types of shows, I have a format that I follow. And I don't want to alienate anybody who comes for that format. So I want you to go to those other backup channels and don't forget Real Red Pill Mom. Thanks, Redneck Prepper. Yes, my mom is always there helping out in the background as well. So definitely go follow the vlog channel and the clips channel, because I'm going to start publishing stuff on there, and I want to make sure that, you know, it goes out to you guys. We have so many people here, and if just, you know, if you guys would go and subscribe, you would honestly make my day. It would mean a lot to me. It would help out quite a bit. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. Just subscribe to both backup channels. Thank you so much. It starts with just one person. Now all you have to do is share it with your friends and family, and make sure that you tell them exactly where they can go to get real news on a regular basis. Let's see. Well, you guys, we're coming down to the end here. Methods, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on before we take it to the end?
No, I mean, not anything else like another topic itself, but the whole idea of what you've been talking about here with expanding what you're doing as Red Pill 78, the platform, your website and stuff. You know, there's a lot of those things going on behind the scenes. Just, you know, some of us that are working on it, we just know, get things in place, you know, and then launch, and then we run with it. But there is a future that's going to be more so than just these, you know, what you see now. I know of a lot of people working on other things behind the scenes that are pretty exciting. There's a lot of networking happening to where people are going to be working together. I'm definitely excited about it. I do plan, you know, on doing a live show in some kind of capacity on my channel. I'm also looking into things like video editing and stuff like that I'm going to want to do. But we need to, you know, we need to have this future of more things than just, you know, not necessarily just covering the news or just reading headlines, you know, having the discussions, having the hangouts, spending time with people, catching up on all these, you know, catching up with everybody too. So I like that you're doing that with the website, where people can have a hub to hang out. You know, there needs to be that kind of innovation happening to where we're doing different things that are more so than what we've been doing just the past few years. I'm very excited about the future. I'm excited about the people that we're working with. I'm excited about meeting new people, because that happens all the time. And that's the beauty of this movement, is that you can click with somebody. You know, I mean, we just met Woke a few months ago.
Yeah.
And now I chat with him just about every day. He's just great people. And that's the exciting thing about all this. We're all going to be able to, you know, create this future, whether it's, you know, shows and, you know, where we chat like this, or interviews, or entertainment hangout stuff, different things. I mean, we still have that guy doing the puppets, right?
Yes.
You know, we've got a lot of different things going on, which is pretty cool. But as you guys are all, you know, I know we're winding down here and just kind of chatting, but as you guys head out, if you guys don't mind clicking that like button for us on the way out, if you haven't already, it really means a lot. It means a lot to us too, that we have the amount of people hang out with us when we do this show, and we do miss you guys on our off days. We do love this time with all.
Absolutely. Yeah, yesterday was a good day off. Definitely relaxed. Took the dogs on some walks. Had you know, some good decompression time. I am going to. Methods. You want to drop your channel in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Okay. I am Real Red Pill Girlfriend and I and the family. We are going out of state in July, so there will be like a couple of days where I don't do live streams. But I should be able to put out content all during the week. But there's just going to have to be a couple of days where I don't do anything. Maybe I'll do like a little quick thing here or there. But for the most part, I won't be able to. So I just want you guys to be ready for that. Don't be too alarmed if you don't see a video come out on a day that you expected. I will let you know the day beforehand if I'm not going to be doing a video. So I definitely just I don't want people to get freaked out if it happens. So I'm showing 4,700 people here, 3.3 thousand likes. At one point, we had 53 or 5,400 people here. So if you haven't yet, consider hitting that like button. Somebody wanted to know if there wasn't, if the dogs got into another blood feud. No, the dogs have not gotten into another blood feud ever since then. That's it.
If that ever happens again on your show, man, you're not going to be able to. Because Muffingate, I still get tagged with hashtag Muffingate, and I wasn't even involved in the show. So it's definitely going to be something we'll always remember.
In the letter from Gaffer and on, he did hashtag Muffingate. That just about made my day. I'm never throwing that letter out. And tomorrow I will, or later on today, I will show that painting from his wife because it was great. So, as we come to the end of another edition of Occam's Razor, just want to let everybody know once again how much we appreciate you. Thank you for all of the support. Miss Sue, I haven't ignored your message. This is the first time I've seen you saying anything to me. So what's your message, Miss Sue? Go ahead and say it, because I'm not ignoring you. There's just 5,300 people chatting all at the same time, and please don't take offense. It's not easy to follow everybody in the chat and run the board and watch the news and talk and be able to keep my thoughts organized in the proper way. So don't worry, Miss Sue. We won't go anywhere until I see what your gripe is. I want to know what it was you think I ignored. So I know we have to wait a minute and 20 seconds.
Right. No, I totally get it, man. Like, I feel bad, too, because people will message me and ask me if I'm upset with them or something.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't respond to a message I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
Or I got caught up in something, and no offense to the person, I forgot that I was reading that message.
Yeah.
Because this work, it moves so fast. But, we want to take care of everybody. But, it's really, really hard. Like, my DMs are so chock full right now. I feel bad about it, but if I were to spend all day in there, I couldn't get anything else done. But we do appreciate people sending us information and stuff like that. It does help us out a lot.
All right, and I already did PayPal thanks, so if you sent me something and you didn't hear your name, I just got something from Richard. Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you, John. Thank you, David. He says, keep telling the truth, boys, and everything will turn dark to light. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Is that Stephen twice? Yeah, twice. Stephen, thank you very much, man. He says, from Redeemed Patriot, I'm an old fart. Thank you to Lynn. Thank you to Louie. Thank you to Mary. Let's see. Hold on. I don't want to miss this chat in the Miss Sue. Trump rallies in 2 months. Thank you, Miss Sue. That was definitely something I wanted to talk about, and I completely forgot. Rallies are coming back. We're going to cover a live rally. I guarantee it, you guys. I'm going to go to at least one of these rallies, and I'm going to film it and live stream it directly from the event. Thank you so much, Miss Sue, for reminding me. And just to Method's point, it is impossible for us to read and respond to all the messages. Please do not take it personally if I don't respond to you, or in the same way, if we start communicating and then I get sidetracked with something else. There is so much going on, and it is difficult enough for me to keep my own life straight. And then you throw in all of this, and man, I am moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, 27 hours a day, 382 days a year. And I know that that's more than a time and more days in a year than we actually have. But I cram a lot of stuff into a single day. Real Red Pill Girlfriend would tell you, if she was still here, that I never stop moving, okay? If I am doing, in Methods will tell you, if I'm on the phone, I also have to be doing laundry or cleaning or walking the dogs or, reading a book or, looking at the news or checking my notifications. It's impossible for me to not do 10 things at once because I have so many things to do and I can't stop doing them. Ryan,
I'm still waiting on Red Pill to call me back from a few days ago.
Oh, that's right.
Had something come up. So yeah, no, it is what it is, man. I mean, I feel bad just randomly taking a break and watching a movie or something because I know I'm going to be missing something going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you wrap up the show. Love everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will be back at this Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. And another great one. I had a lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, same here, you guys. Love you. Good luck. God bless. I will see you tonight at 6 p.m. for Red Pill News.